Have you ever stopped to ponder the existence of God? It's a question that has echoed through the ages, a universal query that has perplexed and intrigued humankind since the dawn of consciousness. It's a topic that has sparked endless debates, inspired countless works of art and literature, and shaped societies and cultures around the globe. But what if we took a step back from these discussions and looked at this question from a purely scientific and sociological perspective? What would we find? This is the journey we're embarking on today. We're not here to challenge faith or disrespect anyone's beliefs. Instead, we aim to explore, question, and understand. We'll delve into the realms of evolutionary theory, cognitive psychology, and comparative mythology, examining how these fields challenge traditional notions of a divine being. We'll also look at the diversity and evolution of religions, considering how this diversity casts doubt on the universality of divine beliefs. We'll take a sociological lens to this discussion too, exploring how religion has shaped and been shaped by societies throughout history. We'll consider how the time and place of your birth can significantly influence your religious beliefs, and how cultural contexts shape our understanding of the divine. But this journey isn't just about scientific theories and sociological perspectives. It's about us as individuals and as a species. It's about our innate desire to understand our place in the universe and our relentless pursuit of answers to life's biggest questions. It's about our capacity for wonder, curiosity, and reflection. So, are you ready to join us on this intriguing expedition? Ready to gaze into the mirror of science and sociology and see what reflections they offer on the existence of God? Whether you're a believer, an atheist, or somewhere in between, we invite you to open your mind, challenge your preconceptions, and join the conversation. Join us as we delve into the scientific and sociological arguments against the existence of God. From an evolutionary standpoint, belief in the divine may have been a survival mechanism. Let's take a moment to explore this. Evolutionary theory, as you may know, is based on the principle of survival of the fittest. This doesn't just apply to physical traits, it also encompasses behaviors and even beliefs. This is where the concept of religious belief comes into play. Consider our early ancestors living in a world filled with dangers and uncertainties. They faced threats from predators, natural disasters, and even from within their own social groups. In such an environment, the ability to perceive and predict threats would have been a crucial survival skill. However, accurately identifying threats isn't always easy. So, our ancestors developed a tendency to err on the side of caution, to see intention and agency even where there was none. This is known as hyperactive agency detection, and it's thought to be one of the root causes of belief in supernatural beings. Better to mistake a rustling bush for a stalking predator and run away, than to dismiss it and become a meal, right? This over-attribution of agency, extending even to natural phenomena like the weather and the movement of celestial bodies, could have laid the foundation for belief in divine entities controlling these elements. Moreover, the social cohesion provided by shared beliefs could have had survival benefits too. Religious beliefs and rituals could have fostered unity, cooperation, and a sense of purpose, making groups more resilient and successful in the face of challenges. And thus, over millennia, these beliefs could have become deeply ingrained in human societies, passed down through generations, and diversified into the multitude of religions we see today. So, from an evolutionary perspective, belief in God could simply be a product of human survival instincts. But remember, this is just one perspective. It doesn't negate the profound emotional and spiritual experiences many individuals associate with their faith. It simply provides a potential explanation for why religious beliefs are so pervasive across human cultures. Our exploration doesn't end here. Let's dive deeper into the cognitive psychology behind belief in the next scene. Cognitive psychology also provides insights into our inclination towards belief in the divine. This field of study focuses on our mental processes, including how we perceive, remember, and learn from the world around us. It's fascinating to see how our minds are, in many ways, pre-designed to believe in something beyond our physical reality. From an early age, we humans are inclined to believe in invisible agents. This tendency is so ingrained in our cognitive wiring that it often persists despite our best logical arguments. Imagine a child who is convinced there's a monster under their bed. No amount of reasoning or physical proof can dissuade them from this belief. They are certain of the monster's existence because their mind has created it. Research has shown that this predisposition isn't just limited to children. Adults, too, often attribute agency to random events. For instance, when something unexpected happens, our first instinct is often to ask, why or who's responsible? This pattern of thought is so deeply ingrained that it can be hard to shake off, even with the knowledge that sometimes things just happen due to chance or natural laws. Now let's take this a step further. If our minds are so easily inclined to believe in invisible agents, is it such a leap to suggest that this could extend to belief in a higher power or divine being? After all, what is a deity if not an invisible agent on a grand scale? This isn't to say that belief in God is merely a trick of the mind. Many people find deep comfort and purpose in their faith. However, from a cognitive psychology perspective, it's interesting to consider how our mental processes might influence these beliefs. So what does all this mean? It suggests that our belief in God might not be a conscious choice or a result of logical reasoning. Instead, it could be a byproduct of our cognitive predispositions. Our minds are wired to seek patterns, meanings, and agents, even when none exist. This could make us more susceptible to religious beliefs. Thus, our cognitive wiring might be responsible for our belief in God. The diversity and evolution of religions throughout history challenge the universality of divine beliefs. Picture this: a tapestry of faiths, each thread representing a unique belief system, intertwining and evolving over centuries. This is the beautiful, complex world of religion. From the primal animistic beliefs of our ancestors who revered the spirits of nature, we have seen religion evolve into more complex systems. Polytheism brought us pantheons of gods and goddesses, each governing different aspects of life in the universe. Monotheism emerged, focusing worship on one all-powerful deity. And we can't forget about atheism and agnosticism, which question the existence of any divine entity. Today, there are thousands of religions practiced globally. Each comes with its own set of rituals, moral codes, and deities. Some believe in a single god, others in multiple, and some in none at all. Some religions view their God as a personal, interactive being, while others perceive it as an impersonal, distant force. Religions have also evolved to adapt to societal changes. For instance, as societies became more gender equitable, we saw the rise of goddess worship and the acknowledgement of divine feminine power. Similarly, the onset of the scientific era prompted the development of religious interpretations that reconcile faith with science. This diversity and evolution of religions are not indicative of a single, universal divine truth, but rather reflect our human tendency to seek meaning, comfort, and order in a chaotic world. They show us that religion is a human construct shaped by our cultural context, historical events, and personal experiences. In essence, religious diversity and evolution challenge the notion of one universally accepted divine entity. With such a varied landscape of beliefs, it becomes difficult to assert the existence of one true God or divine force. With such diversity and evolution in religious beliefs, can one divine entity truly exist? Sociologically, religion has served as a regulator of societies. It's a fascinating lens to view the role of belief in a divine being. Let's dive into that. Religion, throughout history, has acted as a social glue, binding communities together under shared beliefs and moral codes. Think about the 10 Commandments, the 5 Pillars of Islam, or the Eightfold Path of Buddhism. These doctrines provide a roadmap for individuals to navigate their lives, fostering cooperation and harmony within the community. Religion also plays a pivotal role in maintaining social order. It often defines what is deemed right and wrong, setting societal norms and expectations. This moral compass helps keep societies functioning cohesively, providing a sense of security and purpose. As civilizations grew, so did religious institutions. They mirrored the complexity of the societies they served, becoming more organized and hierarchical. From the ancient Egyptian priesthood to the modern Catholic Church, religious institutions have often held significant political and social power, further cementing their role in shaping societal norms. Religion also provides answers to existential questions, offering comfort in times of uncertainty. It can provide a sense of purpose, a narrative that gives meaning to life's random events. This existential comfort can foster social cohesion and stability, contributing to the overall well-being of a society. But this sociological perspective also raises intriguing questions. If religion has evolved as a societal tool, could belief in a divine being be a byproduct of this evolution? Could our perception of God be molded by the societal structures we live in? And if so, does this challenge the objective existence of a divine being? These questions aren't easy to answer, and they continue to spark lively debate among sociologists, philosophers, and theologians alike. But one thing remains clear: the sociological role of religion is significant, influencing not just individual beliefs, but the very fabric of societies. In this light, religion and by extension belief in God could merely be a societal construct. Culture significantly influences our religious beliefs. This is a notion that sociologists and anthropologists have long accepted, and it's worth exploring in this conversation. Our cultural surroundings play a significant role in shaping our understanding of the divine and the world around us. Imagine you were born in ancient Greece. You'd likely believe in a pantheon of gods residing on Mount Olympus, each governing different aspects of life in the natural world. If you were born in a contemporary Western society, you might be more inclined to monotheistic beliefs such as Christianity. If you had been born in the Middle East, you might be raised with Islamic teachings. Each of these cultural contexts presents a different view of the divine, influenced by history, geography, and societal norms. This isn't just about geography, though. Time also plays a crucial role. Consider how beliefs have evolved within a single culture over time. Ancient Egyptian beliefs, for example, revolved around a multitude of gods and complex afterlife rituals. However, the advent of Christianity in Egypt brought a significant shift in religious beliefs, aligning more closely with Christian monotheism. These examples underscore how culture and time shape our beliefs. They suggest that our faiths are often inherited, passed down through generations, and ingrained in us by our societies. This is not to say that inherited beliefs are unimportant or invalid. They play a critical role in forming our identities and providing a sense of belonging. However, it does raise interesting questions about the universality and objectivity of divine existence. If our belief in God or gods is so heavily influenced by when and where we are born, it's worth pondering. Is our faith in a divine existence truly universal? Or is it more a product of our cultural and temporal contexts? This is where sociology and anthropology intersect with our discussion on the existence of God. They invite us to consider the possibility that our belief in God might not be an inherent universal truth, but rather a cultural artifact, shaped by our surroundings and the time we live in. Thus, our belief in God might be more about cultural conditioning than divine existence. Many religious stories, like those of flood myths and virgin births, are found across various cultures. This overlap isn't a mere coincidence, but a testament to the shared experiences and imaginations of humanity. Let's take the concept of a great flood, for instance. This narrative is not unique to the biblical tale of Noah. Similar stories are found in ancient Babylonian, Greek, and Hindu texts. In each narrative, the flood serves as a divine intervention, a reset button of sorts, wiping the slate clean and allowing for a new beginning. Likewise, the theme of miraculous births is another common thread, from the virgin birth of Jesus in Christianity to the conception of Buddha in Buddhism, where his mother dreamt of a white elephant entering her side. These stories, although distinct, share the theme of divinely orchestrated births, emphasizing the extraordinary nature of the figures they celebrate. Now let's talk about resurrection. The idea of life after death isn't unique to any single culture or religion. The ancient Egyptians believed in the resurrection of Osiris, the god of the underworld. In Christianity, the resurrection of Jesus is a central doctrine. In Hinduism, the concept of reincarnation or rebirth is a fundamental belief. What's fascinating is that these myths and stories, though separated by vast geographical distances and cultural differences, bear striking resemblances. They echo similar themes, characters, and narratives. This brings us to an intriguing question. If these stories are so similar, could they be human fabrications rather than divine revelations? Perhaps these tales were created to explain the unexplainable, to instill moral values, or to provide comfort in the face of life's uncertainties. They may reflect our shared human fear of death, our awe of the natural world, and our deep-seated need for hope and redemption. So, could these similarities indicate a human origin of religious stories rather than a divine one? As we continue to explore, remember, it's not about debunking faith, but about understanding our shared human experience and the stories we've created to navigate it. If a divine being is omnipotent and benevolent, why is there so much suffering in the world? This is a question that has perplexed thinkers for centuries, and it's known as the problem of evil. The concept is simple. If a supreme being exists, one that is all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-loving, why does suffering persist? Why are there wars, diseases, natural disasters, and all forms of pain and misery? If God has the power to prevent these, why doesn't he? If he doesn't prevent them, does that mean he isn't all-powerful or perhaps not all-loving? Some argue that suffering is a test of faith, a necessary part of our mortal journey. Others believe that suffering exists to teach us lessons, to help us grow and evolve as beings. But then, does this mean that an all-loving God inflicts pain and suffering on his creations for educational purposes? Then there's the concept of free will. Some suggest that God gave us free will and it is our misuse of this gift that leads to suffering. But what about the innocent child who suffers from a painful disease? What about the victims of natural disasters who had no hand in causing their own suffering? There's also the suggestion that perhaps God can't intervene, that he set the universe in motion and now lets it run its course. But then, can we really call such a being all-powerful? These questions don't have easy answers. Philosophers and theologians have grappled with them for centuries, and they continue to be a subject of intense debate. No matter where you stand on the spectrum of belief, the problem of evil and suffering is a crucial point to consider. The existence of suffering poses a significant challenge to the existence of a benevolent God. Whether this dilemma strengthens your faith, shakes it, or confirms your skepticism, it's an essential part of the conversation about the existence of a divine being. Today, we've explored how both science and sociology provide perspectives that challenge the existence of a divine being. We started by looking at the evolutionary perspective, which posits that our ancestors developed religious beliefs as a survival mechanism. Cognitive psychology further bolsters this idea, suggesting that we are naturally inclined to believe in invisible agents from an early age. We then delved into the diversity and evolution of religions. With thousands of different religions practiced today, the sheer variety of beliefs raises questions about the universality of a divine entity. Moreover, the evolution of religious beliefs from animism to complex organized religions illustrates how our understanding of the divine has continually shifted and transformed over time. Next, we examined the sociological role of religion. Historically, religions have served to regulate societies, providing moral frameworks and fostering community bonds. Here, the existence of a divine being is seen more as a social construct than a universal truth. We also discussed how cultural context significantly influences religious beliefs. Your place and time of birth can determine whether you believe in one God, many gods, or no God at all. This cultural relativism highlights the human-centric nature of divine beliefs. We then touched on the intriguing similarities found in mythologies across cultures, suggesting that many religious stories may have been influenced by shared human experiences rather than divine revelation. Lastly, we tackled the philosophical problem of evil and suffering. If a divine being is omnipotent and benevolent, why is there so much suffering in the world? This age-old question further challenges the existence of a divine being. In summary, from scientific theories to sociological observations, we see a multitude of perspectives that question the existence of a divine being. But remember, these perspectives don't necessarily negate the possibility of a divine entity. Rather, they invite us to question, rethink, and perhaps broaden our understanding of what the divine can mean. These perspectives invite us to question and rethink our beliefs about the existence of God. What do you think? Can a scientific and sociological perspective change the way we think about religion and spirituality? That's been our question for today's exploration. We've journeyed through the realms of science and sociology, unearthing perspectives that challenge the existence of a divine being. We've grappled with the evolutionary origins of religious belief, the cognitive psychology behind faith, the astounding diversity and evolution of religions, and the sociological role that faith plays in our societies. We've also ventured into the terrain of cultural influences and how they shape our beliefs. We've compared mythologies across cultures and wrestled with the age-old problem of evil and suffering in a world supposedly overseen by a benevolent deity. Yet these are not definitive answers, but rather perspectives meant to provoke thought, stimulate discussion, and encourage us to question our assumptions, because after all, the quest for understanding is a journey, not a destination. So let's keep this conversation going. We'd love to hear your thoughts on these matters. Do you agree with the perspectives presented, or do you have a different view? Maybe you have personal experiences that have shaped your beliefs, or perhaps you've read a book or seen a documentary that's given you a new insight. Whatever it is, let's keep this dialogue alive. And while we're at it, why not hit the subscribe button and give this video a like? By doing so, you'll become part of a community that values open-mindedness, curiosity, and the pursuit of knowledge. Plus, you'll be the first to know when we release new content. Now, speaking of new content, we're already gearing up for our next video. This time we'll be diving deeper into the science behind spirituality. We'll explore fascinating research on the brain consciousness, and those elusive experiences often termed as mystical or transcendent. It promises to be an intriguing journey. So until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and above all, keep an open mind. Stay tuned for our next video where we dive deeper into the science behind spirituality.